Hello and welcome back to XP Waste, where we'd like to speak to you about our Lord and Savior RN Jesus. I'm Michael.
And I'm Oxie. Hello, everyone, new listeners and old listeners alike. We are XP Waste. If you're new here, we are a podcast that talks about RuneScape, but the fun part is we're both bad at RuneScape, and we just really like talking about it. So strap in for that if you're new. If you're a returning listener, hey there, welcome back. We're on week 23. If this sounds a little smoother than it originally would for me, because you guys know, the returners, that I am just so good at promoting XP Waste, it's because yesterday we hit a little bit of a faux pas, technically.
Oh, gosh.
So this is the second round of recording this entire episode for us.
Yep.
But in any case, welcome. Michael, what happened yesterday?
Oh, man. I moved into a house, previously lived in an apartment, never had this issue, but for the past 2 times that it has thunderstormed in my area, our power has gone completely out. Like yesterday, it flickered. It was off for maybe 2 seconds. Came back on, but this happened during us recording. Long story short, when I went back to actually find the file of my video, it was corrupted. So we just had Oxie, and it was like there was no first half of my video. So then we opted to just take the night and start the next day, which is today.
Yeah, we said if we tried to record again, like immediately after, and like restart the episode, we would just be super annoyed. Because we were like disparaged, like sinking in our chairs, like so
corrupted files are not fun.
They're not fun.
And again, like the power's not gone out at my old apartment, so there was never this issue. So I'm like, what if it happens again during our second take? Then I'm just going to quit the podcast and we'll never release episode 23 because at that point it's super discouraging.
23 will be our 73 where like it doesn't exist, and we'll joke about it for years. Like, dude, it's in episode 23. We talk about it, and it's just never gets released ever.
Yeah. Here's a question for you, Oxie. What happens when we get to episode 99? Are we maxed in the podcast?
We're lighting off fireworks. You
Nice.
think I'm
Okay.
kidding? We're lighting off. Each of us are gonna get fireworks, and we're gonna light them off wherever we are. You have a house, so you're fine.
I do. Yeah,
My
I'm good.
apartment complex is gonna be pissed, but I don't care. I just got
That's
99 podcasting, so I'm gonna light off a big old like pew.
That's for future you to figure out. So,
Yeah, exactly. We've got 76 weeks to figure that out. So, God, that's a long time. 76 weeks from now. That's nuts. It's like next fall. It's like Halloween time, 2022.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Wait, no. A year from now, it would be 2023.
No, a year from now would be 2022.
Yes, and that's 52 weeks.
Yeah, and then
Add another
another
25.
That's 97.
Oh.
And then so another 27 out of the 52. No.
We're so good at math.
No, 52 plus 23. 52 plus 23 is 70 is 75. So we need 14 more weeks after that. So right now it's August 2nd, which means 14 weeks after that. Will we be closer to Christmas time? I don't know, dude. This is why we shouldn't wait. We'll be in like the middle of November. It'll be like if you're in the United States, like a Thanksgiving fireworks show. So like you'll get the lovely fall colors of Michigan with just like fireworks and like yeehaws going on in the background.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Yeah.
We're XP Waste, where we talk about RuneScape, but mostly we just get off topic. Michael actually sent, I'm not kidding, I can go in the DMs. He sent me a layout of how the introduction is going to go yesterday, because in last week's episode, we got so off track for the intro before we started talking about main title content. And he's like, here, we're going to follow this structure. It's going to be great. We didn't even get to the what's below you, the title of the episode. We didn't even get to that yesterday until about 25 minutes in. So Michael and I are really bad at that. So let's follow your itinerary here, sir,
Yeah,
to a
let's do
T.
that.
I believe next you would like to talk about the let me fix my glasses here. The Team No Life Skill of the Week results.
Yeah. So we had a skill of the week last week, ended last Monday, and it's quite the event. If you've been a part of TNL for a while, you know that for like the past 8 to 9 months, anytime we've done a skill of the week, I've always pushed for Hunter, and it happened this time. I think it was a pity vote, to be honest.
It was.
It was because like there's people who wanted to do mining, there was rune crafting, I think there was cooking, and none of it passed. It was Hunter. So we had a pretty good event, I must say.
The only
fifth
skill
place.
nobody needs for our diary capes passed.
I know.
We were so happy.
Hey, but if you're gonna max, you gotta max it anyway, am I right? If you get
guess.
to 93, that's a good level for Ironman to have for dragon implings. And then for main accounts, if you're wanting to hunt crystal implings, 90 is a good level to have. And that's what I got to this week. So I took fourth officially, and then Scape got third. So close got second, and a big shout out to Rune Guy for taking first with 23 EHP for the week.
Which, if you don't know what EHP is, it stands for efficient hours played. Let me, as someone who got a staggering 0.8 EHP this week in Hunter, that Rune Guy played for 23 efficient hours of Hunter. Let me rephrase. Let me repeat that for you. This man had almost an entire day of efficiently doing Hunter over a whole week. So like no bathroom breaks, no food breaks. Like he obviously did. It was over the course of an entire week, a little bit more than that, maybe like 8 or 9 days. But EHP, the way you track it, it's not like, oh, it's just total XP gained. It's how well did you gain that XP within that hour? Did you maximize the amount that you can get? 24 hours of maximum efficiency Hunter. That's insane.
Wow. Yeah.
I got, I think, 170k total, and then I just got bored. There were a lot of PKers, because I did Black Chins. I just brought the Bofa on a Serp Helm, and the Bofa on Auto Retaliate is hysterical in Deep Wilderness. But I fell off Skill of the Week. I do have a bit of a gripe with Skill of the Week. I enjoy them, but if you fall behind on the first day of Skill of the Week, you pretty much just like stay behind for the entire, like it's really hard to catch up because like you don't have the time to get there. And that is not like, that concern doesn't just lie with our event. There's another much larger event that also kind of has that same threatening aura that we recently learned about. That was a much smoother transition than yesterday. That was
so
like, ooh.
That's like butter on a grilled cheese. Smooth.
I can't believe it's not Oxie. Like, sliding right in.
You're getting that Discord title, buddy.
Buttery? Oh God, that's
no. I can't believe it's not Oxie.
I can't believe it's not. That should be just my Discord name now. I can't believe it's not Oxie. I'll change it after we record. Michael, big things happened this weekend. Jurassic World Evolution gave us a developer diary with new stuff. Halo Infinite released their tech alpha, and I killed bots all weekend in my favorite game franchise ever, as you can see by the snazzy new decorations on my wall.
Hey.
And most importantly, we got like, what would you call it? Like a tiny little live stream from the OSRS team?
Just a little one.
Yeah, nothing really important was announced, you know.
I mean, they didn't have like epic transitions and great pre-recorded segments or anything.
There was like barely any JMods there. It was like super, you know, really just uneventful. We were in Discord screaming when that summer summit ended. We were literally like, we all unmuted at the same time, and we're just like, Raids 3! We're just losing our minds. But
dude, that was amazing. Like, if you didn't watch the summer summit this last Saturday, go back and rewatch the live stream because it's that worth it.
It's
Just to
actually really
experience
good.
it. Yeah.
It's really good.
I haven't seen that level of like production quality from a live stream from Jagex in like ever. I wouldn't say it's better than going to RuneFest because RuneFest is an experience in its own.
Yeah.
It's a tiny little taste of what you would get if you went to a RuneFest. And it's, yeah, I was surprised and very, 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 very satisfied.
It is miles ahead, way better than weekly live streams, Q&As, and blog posts. Like, hearing them announce it live, there's just something that's like viscerally more enjoyable than like reading about it in a news post. Like when I read about story mode Theater of Blood, I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome. But to have like Ed and Arcane sit and describe like the lore of Raids 3, you know, to have Flippy tell us about Leagues 3, and to have Aiza and Husky talk about what our main title content of the day is.
Yeah.
Deadman mode.
You guys have already seen the title of the episode, so you know we're talking about Deadman Mode Reborn.
Indeed we are. Why aren't we talking about all the other stuff that happened in the Summer Summit, Michael? There's so much stuff that is, in my opinion, more interesting than Deadman Mode. Like, of the things that came out, I'm excited for Deadman Mode, but I am the least excited about Deadman Mode of the 4 big announcements that we got. So why are we talking about
like, if we're being honest, it would probably be like a 6-hour podcast if we were to just go into everything that they talked about in the live stream. The live stream itself was only like 2 hours, so that's saying something.
It was like an hour and a half. It wasn't even that.
Yeah,
it was super short.
We could talk your ear off about the Summer Summit and all it had to offer, but we don't know a lot. All they really gave us was minor details for some of the things that are happening, and then like estimated dates. The only thing that we really, really have concrete information on is Deadman Mode, because they released a blog post and they gave us a date. So 25th of August, we're getting Deadman Mode Reborn.
Also, fun fact, we know that in Leagues 3, I believe, was it for Leagues 3? We will have to do all of the quests again. There will be no auto-completed quests. We only know that because, why do we know that? XP Waste podcast was mentioned on the Summer Summit. Go back and find that clip. That's the only extra little bit we want to talk about. Deadman Mode.
So cool, dude.
It was so cool. Fun. I had so many people adding me in all the different Discord communities I'm in. They're like, Oxie, you're on the podcast. I'm like, or not the podcast, the live stream, whatever it is. It was so much fun.
I had a friend who watched it later. He was watching it on his phone and he texted me. I was like, is this you, bro? I was like, yeah. He's like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool. And Flippy's reaction is like, don't XP waste. We're like, it's our whole brand. but yeah, Deadman. Have you ever played Deadman Mode, Michael?
I may have logged in on a server, but I've never played Deadman.
But like you've never played it like when the event starts. You've like accidentally clicked on a Deadman Mode world.
Yeah. That's about it. Like accidentally click and then you're like, oh, I shouldn't be here, and just go back to the main game. No, I've never played Deadman. This does look super interesting though. Like coming from a person who doesn't like PvP, hasn't really ever PK'd anybody besides attempting to PK. What was it? So we tried to kill So Close that one time when he was killing Callisto.
It was first of all, you accidentally attacked Kyle like a dick, or a Darksider, one of the two of them, and then you attempted to PK Scape at the Chaos altar. Oh my god, that was horrible. Yeah. All you needed to do was come back and claw spec. It took Michael.
Take me to the wilderness,
guys. I fought Scape, who you've seen in past episodes. I fought him one-on-one. He's in like full toxic staff gear. I'm in like doo-doo garbage because I'm super cheap and refuse to pay money to just lose it to a PKer. And he and I are neck and neck. Like, we don't have any brews left. We don't have any restores left. It's coming down to the wire. And I'm like, Michael, get your ass back here and claw spec him so we can get a kill for our team. It took Michael. He's still in his player-owned house trying to get his spec back. So Michael PKing is not the most reliable thing in the world.
Scape had like 30 mil risk too.
You needed 2 seconds. Shing, 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 shing. We would have given it back to him anyways, but like
no, we wouldn't have.
What?
I wouldn't have.
I would have gotten the kill credit because I did like 200 damage to him.
We would have split it. You're too nice, Oxie. He's risking 30 mil. It's a risk for a reason. If Scape was like with us right now, he probably would tell you, you could have kept it.
I 100% would have given it back to him. I would have. I enjoy the thrill of the hunt more than I do the loot from my friends. But we're getting off track again. This has a lot to do with Deadman mode, because if you've never played, the entire thing is the wilderness, but it's everywhere. Deadman mode is, to like really briefly and probably poorly sum it up, it is a PvP world, but it's like a set of servers. So it's like a set of PvP worlds where XP is boosted through the roof, like it is in leagues, but you're not Iron Man. You can buy things on the Grand Exchange. Drop rates are boosted. You have access to special drop tables that include things like relics that are worth a shitload of money, or what are they called? Totems, whatever they are.
Sigils.
No, sigils are the power-ups. They have like you ever been to the Revenant caves before?
Yeah.
They have like ancient statuettes and things like that as part of the Revenant drop table. Those same statuettes are recolored and dropped by monsters within the wilderness, I believe, and they have that same monetary value from the emblem trader.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can get money from that. So like there's a lot of really cool drops to hunt, including the Vesta's longsword, which is such a powerful PK weapon. It's failed multiple polls to get into the main game.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's crazy. It's so much fun, but it's super stressful because like everyone's trying to kill you all the time. If you've ever played like Darkscape from RS3, it's kind of like that, just a little bit. They've refined it quite a bit. They've changed it up, and the DMM Reborn refers to some pretty significant changes they have made to Deadman mode. Michael, break it down. What's the first big change to Deadman mode?
So I would say probably the biggest change that they've made this season is how your lives work. This season, essentially you'll have 3 lives, and you have 2 lives that aren't really a big deal. The first 2 deaths, they don't really mean anything. They're exactly how they were in previous Deadman. You still lose your stuff, like you'll still lose your 10 items from your bank key.
Yeah.
And nothing is going to get reset though. So previously, if you died, you had 1 life. Previously, if you died in Deadman, you'd have certain things reset. You'd have like a percentage of your skills would be decreased by XP. That is going to happen on your 3rd death. Oxie, tell us about the 3rd life.
So the 3rd death is horrifying. The first 2 deaths, you can die anywhere. You can die to a PKer, you can die to a boss, you can die on some bullshit in the Theater of Blood, you can die to the Dark Wizards outside Varrock. Doesn't matter. Any sort of death will take 1 away from your life count. Obviously, if it's PVM, death mechanics stay the same. What the fuck is Cerberus going to do with your bank key? You know, so you get them from a gravestone.
As long as it's a safe death, you won't... Like, if it's a safe death, like in raids or
Fight caves,
in
Inferno.
Gauntlet, those kinds of things, you won't lose a life.
I imagine, though, well, Gauntlet's technically not a safe death for hardcores. But I don't actually know how, but you like don't like have a gravestone. You don't lose anything when you die.
Right, you just get teleported back out.
You keep your, it's weird. I'm sure Gauntlet will be safe, relatively speaking. But your 3rd death sucks. You go from having whatever combat level you have, and you drop right back down to level 3. You lose all of it. Hit points, attack, strength, defense, range, magic, and prayer all reset to 1 and 10 for HP. All back to level 3. And you lose 10% of skilling XP across the board. So like, let's say you're maxed and you have a 99 in all non-combat skills, you lose like 1.3 million XP or more, depending. So I suppose is it better then at that point to like earn a shitload of XP to protect yourself?
Right. So like if you go 1.4 million XP over, then you're probably good and you won't go back under 99.
Yeah, like if you gain like 25 million cooking XP, for example, like a Leagues 2 task,
Hmm.
you're technically still going to be 99 when you die, right?
Right.
Unless you lose 10% or you lose 30%. No, you lose 10%.
10%.
10% of all skilling experience. The scariest part about dying, all of your shit in your bank is wiped. It's gone. So with a bank key, like if someone kills you, they get a key that has the access to your 10 most valuable items within your bank. I'm not sure if you, when you die on a third life, they get your entire bank, like everything minus like untradables. I'm sure. I'm not sure how
So
that's gonna work, but your whole
in
bank, you don't get it anymore.
right, it's wiped. In the blog post, they talk about that specifically. So first two deaths, you lose your 10 most valuable items. The
Mhm.
third, the PKer will take your top 28 items and
Wow.
everything in your safe deposit box.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's insane.
So say you do die to Cerberus on your third death, nobody's getting that. It's just getting wiped.
Yeah, it's just deleted. It's gone. So you have to restart. You have all your skills, which is a bit, it's good, and your quests don't reset either. So
Mhm.
like, let's say you get killed immediately, you can go like rush gauntlet again. Not that you'd want to rush gauntlet at level 3, but like, you know what I mean. You could
Yeah.
get back to bosses much easier because you're gonna need GP to buy items to do whatever. The reason I said a few minutes ago that if you fall behind, you stay behind, that's dead man mode. It's not like Leagues where you can join Leagues at any point and other people's progress doesn't determine your own, right? Leagues is a lot like the main game. Well, it's not at all like the main game, but as far as the progression aspect of it, it's a lot like the main game where you kind of set your own adventure and what other people do don't matter for you. You're
Yeah, because everybody's an Iron Man. Yeah.
Exactly. In Dead Man mode, you're a main account, and if you fall behind for like a day or two, I want to say, because I played Dead Man mode when it came out last May, I want to say within like the first 2 or 3 days, there were people in like full ancestral already. And I was in like an adamant chain body. like I'm like, let's go do Wilderness Slayer to get a VLS and sell it.
Wow.
Whoo! You fall behind, you stay behind in Dead Man mode.
Yeah.
There are strategies to do Dead Man mode quickly, much like how you would rush a new account. Like go do Waterfall Quest, go do Fight Arena, things like that. There are ways to do that. I don't know how to do any of them. But there are YouTube videos out there that you could watch for like DMM strats and things like that. But
yeah, you have like 3 weeks of prep time from around the time that we release this podcast. So yeah, plenty of time to think about it. I will say, Oxie, you're talking a lot about like getting behind and staying behind. I think they've thought of that for this league. And one thing that they have made a big change with is total level worlds.
Yeah, that's going to be nice.
I mean combat level worlds.
That's going to be really nice.
Getting behind is not as detrimental as it used to be. And resetting is not as detrimental as it could be.
Resetting's pretty detrimental, dude.
I know. It's detrimental, but it's not like if you get back to level 3, you're in a world with level 3 to 35. It's like you're not going to keep getting ragged by max combat players. The highest combat you're gonna encounter in that world is 35. They could still kill you pretty easily, but you get a fighting chance. So you'll have, I think it's 5 or 6 different worlds, ranging from level 3 all the way to 126. There's going to be some strategy involved with potentially making a pure account, a 1 defense pure, a Zerker, some sort of like specific build to be able to stay in a world where you're not hitting a certain combat level to really dominate. Because if say you want to hang out in the, 71 to 100 combat world, but you're really, really strong as if you are like a 126, that's going to be pretty lethal.
Yeah, I imagine the pures who sit in that 36 to 70 bracket, the like maybe like 44 prayer, 1 defense, 99 strength,
Mm-hmm.
60 attack kind of accounts. Those people are going to be death machines.
Yeah.
That is going to be a lot of fun to watch. So I'm really excited to see how people like that stack up in like the top, competition phase. Because DMM does like a bracket at the very end. I think it's like the top 512 go into like a 1v1 bracket after being filtered down from like the top, I think like 2048 players.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts at 2048, filters down to 512. Then I think at 1v1s in a bracket like March Madness until you get to like 128, I think. 512 from 128, and then it gets a little bit more intense. That's when they start like commentating for tournaments and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the winners get like huge prizes. I would love to see a hyper lethal 1 defense pure or like a Zerker account, like a 90 combat Zerker, go up against like a 120 max main Infernal Cape Dragon Claws, like absolutely here for it fight, because it could be crazy. Like it could be so fun to watch accounts like that square up against each other, because normally they never would.
Right.
And I can't wait for the YouTube videos. I love PvP YouTube. I am terrible at in-game PvP, and I've said this on the podcast before. The big YouTube PKers, the Framed, Torvesta, people like that, those guys during Deadman mode, oh, it's so much fun. Watching these guys run around, just tear people apart. If any PKing YouTube out there is listening, please make a pure account for my own personal entertainment, because I really want to watch you just destroy people in Deadman. The combat bracket worlds are a change that I'm really happy with, because it is really frustrating to like be level 40 and get jumped by a level 90. Like when I did Deadman mode last year, a big thing you want to rush in Deadman mode is hit points. You have a little bit more survivability. Hit points and magic are the 2 things you want to focus on, so you can survive and then teleport the hell out of there.
Or you can cast Teleblock. If you're trying to PK.
If you're trying to run, you're not casting Teleblock on anybody. And a lot of people were like fishing lobsters in Catherby, because like it was a decent moneymaker at the first couple hours. And there would be dudes there who show up level 60 combat, like fire blasting people. Not like Fire Wave or Fire Surge, not Ice Barrage, just like a mid-level spell. Yeah. One tapping, like level 6s, and taking their bank full of lobsters. So it looked like they had like 7 bank keys, but it was all basically garbage because they were hunting low-level players.
Right.
Which is another cool thing about Deadman mode. When you have keys, so this is kind of getting off topic from what we're talking about, but it's a little related. When you attack someone, you get a skull in Deadman mode, kind of like you do in like a high-risk world or something like that. Or a bounty hunter skull is probably more accurate for those of you who remember Bounty Hunter. You get a skull, and when you get a key, it has like a check on the skull. You cannot enter a safe zone with a skull, or guards who are level like 1347 will insta-kill you.
Yeah.
They will ice barrage you and hit you for like 80 each. Like these things are as strong as Zuck, and they'll kill you as soon as you enter a safe zone with a skull. So you kind of have to like linger in the outskirts of the city until your skull fades away. But the more people you kill, the more bank keys you have on you. And the more bank keys you have on you, the more check marks appear on your skull. And your skull like changes color. So like the max tier is like a red skull with like 6 keys, I think is the max you can have.
Yeah.
And you have to wait that shit out before you can go claim the loot. If somebody kills you, they get all the bank keys you had plus your bank key. So it really is high risk, high reward. But as a low level, seeing one of these dudes run up to you who has like 3 bank keys already, they're like broadcasting their kill count, and you're like, shit, I'm in a hard leather body.
Guess I'll die.
Literally, guess I'll die. That's exactly what it is. Not having that threat, I think, in the early game is going to be really fun. And if you're a PKer, the combat XP scales with the levels, I believe. I think
It does.
in the low level worlds, it's like 10, 15, 20, and then 25 times. So by the time you get to level 101, you're getting 25 times combat XP only.
Which is crazy.
All the other XP is 5 times multiplier. So it's still a bit of a grind to get to 99 depending on what you're doing. But
Yeah.
combat, easy as heck. Once you get to level 101, you can Ice Barrage for like 20 minutes and probably get 99 Mage.
So they are changing the skills to times 10 for this league.
Oh, are they times 10?
Sorry. For this, it's not league. For this dead man.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought they
it's
said
times
they were
10.
going to be times 5 in the Summer Summit. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
heck
times
yeah.
10. And then you're right. Once you hit 101, it's 25 times. So from level
Yeah.
101 to 126, I mean, obviously XP scales with your combat level, like your levels. So it's gonna be fast. That's exciting.
Yeah. That dopamine rush is going to be a lot of fun. Because that's one thing I loved in leagues. Swinging like a BGS and seeing like a 7,600 XP drop pop up. Oh, that's so good. I never got the 5-digit XP drops from anything. But
Ooh.
yeah, so it'll be fun, and it'll be a much better way to have people participate, whether you're a low level and you want to like experience Deadman mode for the first time, you can stay in like the lower brackets for a bit. Whether you're a pure account, if you're like a max combat Darok PKer and you want to like rush that, if you want to make a little bit of money, maybe, because you can. I think you can technically swap Deadman mode for OSRS gold. And Michael and I talked about this yesterday.
We did.
There's really not a rule against it. Like, I've seen a lot of people who are like friends with jmods do it on stream. So I don't think swapping DMM and OSRS gold are against the rules. It's risky because you can get scammed, but I don't think it's against the rules. So a lot of people join Deadman mode for the first day because I think in like the first hour, it's like a 30-to-1 ratio. Like if you make 100K in Deadman mode in the first hour, you can get 3 mil main game easy. That's just an example. But like for the first day or two,
juicy, dude.
It kind of levels out at like this like 6-to-1, 7-to-1 ratio. And then after that first 48 hours, immediately plummets back down. So a lot of people get in, they rush content, make a lot of money, and then sell it all off. That's why the Vestas Longsword is so big, because people buy it for like, it sells in the GE for like $1 mil, $2 mil when you first get it, because nobody has any money. People pay like on the first day like 90 mil OSRS to get a VLS in the first day. Like it's insane. So yeah, if you're a low level, try Deadman mode. That's gonna be the underlying theme for this entire episode. If you've never played Deadman mode before, play it.
Just try it.
Just try it out. But we're not done. There's a lot of other really cool things. Really briefly, they auto unlock quests for you. So there was this joke when Leagues 3 came out that people were complaining that like, oh, you know, when they made the changes to Asgarnia, that like you didn't auto complete King's Ransom when you got Kandarin or something like that. Because they changed it so you needed Asgarnia as well. Because like Kandarin was too OP.
Right.
There was a big joke going around that like, you know, oh, like my quests aren't auto completed. That's not nice. And then like all the Deadman mode veterans were like, I've done Desert Treasure 18 times. They auto complete some quests for you, which is nice. Because quest points obviously make you progress for other things. They're all pretty meaningless at the like level 3. You get like Rune Mysteries, Shield of Arav, you know, Druidic Ritual. You don't get anything major. You don't get Dragon Slayer 2. You don't get Desert Treasure. You still have to do all those quests.
It's probably due to the fact that like there's certain items that you would need for these quests that are just tedious. Like I'm looking at why would Goblin Diplomacy mean much? Well, probably because they don't want you having to rely on RNG to get the Goblin Mail.
Yeah,
when they're not going to be on the GE.
You also get 5 quest points from it. So like it's a big like people are going to do it because they need the quest point boost for like Barrow's gloves, which are a huge PK item. You know, if you can afford to get multiple sets of Barrow's gloves, like They're really nice to have.
Or
in
you can
PvP
just wait
situations.
until the last world. Once you hit level 101, Barrow's Gloves, they give them to you.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
there are some things that are not quests. I think you were going to go into that on this
yeah,
unlock list.
but it's not like it's not anything crazy. Like, okay, 100% Zaya favor, bigger and badder Slayer. Like, there are things that aren't quests, but you know, it's very minimal as far as how it affects PKing. Like, even a quest like the Fremenic Isles is not auto completed, and the Fremenic Isles unlocks one of like the most essential PvP helmets ever. Other than maybe the Serpentine Visage, I would argue that the Nezi helm is like one of the most, if not the most popular PK helmet around.
Yeah.
But like stuff like that you still have to do, right? So it's going to be a bit of a grind. When they released Leagues, they auto-completed a bunch of quests, and obviously that didn't get brought over, but people loved relics in Leagues.
They did.
So, Michael, I know this is like your favorite part of Dead Man mode. You
It's
are
actually
so
really
excited.
fun.
You're so excited for this next part.
Yeah. So this time around, there's going to be things called sigils. So basically, it is a way that you can somewhat change the meta of a traditional Deadman mode, where now, like Leagues, you're going to have specific buffs that you can add or remove from your account however you see fit. And so these are in the form of sigils. So the three that they gave us a teaser for on this blog post, you've got the sigil of stamina, the sigil of the formidable fighter, and the sigil of the elves. There's going to be different tiers of sigils, and how you acquire them is by either killing monsters around the game or trading them through the GE. So it's kind of an interesting spin on what we're used to with traditional Leagues relics. They're tradable, that's huge, and you can change them so you're not locked into a specific build. That was one of the things that is always so frustrating when we're talking about Leagues, is like what you choose sets the entire path for your account. I can remember the first league, Twisted League. If you didn't choose Endless Endurance, you like the league was unplayable. Zaya is such a large landmass that having like being stuck with having to either get staminas somehow, which actually no, you can't get stamina boosts on. There's no stamina potions on Zaya. There's no rooftops, so you don't have amylase crystals.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't pick Endless Endurance, you're basically done. The other two first relics meant nothing. So they thought of that in Trailblazer, and now Jagex is continually learning every time they put out events, and I'm sure there's going to be things about this Deadman mode if they continue with sigils that in future Deadman they'll learn and change. But in this one, they did something nice, which was you can change them out.
I'm super excited for this for two reasons. Well, lots of reasons, I guess. The first is that they don't really specify where they're dropped from. It just says additional sigils can be obtained as drops from NPCs. That's it. They don't tell you what. They don't tell you like who. They don't tell you what the rates are. I can't wait to like go on Twitter the first day of Deadman mode and have someone who's like never played DMM before be like, "What's up? I got a sigil from a cow in Lumbridge. What do I do with this thing?" Like, I'm super excited to see like what the drop rates are. I assume like alchemical hydra is gonna have a better drop rate than a cow in Lumbridge. Right. I'm just excited to see like, is it a universal thing? Is the sigil drop table universal? And if it is, that's fun as hell, because you get to go around, you can just kill everything. You just like set up a cannon somewhere and just like, I'm sigil hunting today, baby. And just like rip it up to see if you can get one. And because they sell in the Grand Exchange, some of these are going to be like horribly expensive. Like some of these sigils I'm betting are going to be like the most expensive items in the game. So the way they have it right here with the attuned sigils, they've got slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. Though like the first one I'm looking at, the sigil of stamina, you're permanently under the effects of a stamina potion. I can see that sigil, if it's not the first one that everybody gets, I can see that one going for a shitload of money.
Right.
Because
Right.
being able to run away from people or chase your target down in PvP is huge. I can't wait to see if they release another one like the special attack relic, like they had in Leagues 2. You know how disgusting that'd be way
That'd
too
be
OP for Dead Man mode.
dude.
They would not release that for Dead Man mode because it was
They might.
like it was
Bro.
it was a PvE oriented relic. There is no way they're gonna allow people to use 5 Dragon Claw specs on their enemies.
We never know.
You are a walking tank at that point.
What if that was literally the most rare of all, and like it was the most expensive? It could be.
That would have to be horrifying. Could you imagine you're just like walking to Lumbridge trying to like finish Cook's assistant, and you see someone out here 5-specking with a VLS? The VLS spec hits like a truck. It hits like 50s.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think it's like a Gmaul where you can do like pop 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 and like hit them really quick. But the VLS special attack is gross. And if you do 5 of those, like if they took any inspiration from the League's combat relics and did something like that, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I mean, they could make it to where it's like a set number. So maybe you get twice the amount of specs out of a weapon that you normally would. So with Dragon Claws, you get 4.
8 DDS specs?
Be crazy. Ooh, speaking of DDS, you moved right. Yeah. Audio listeners, Oxie, was it your roommate, your friend?
What happened? My best friend got me a DDS off Etsy for my birthday. That was a few weeks ago. She went online and she just like looked up RuneScape things. Never played the game before. Has absolutely no idea what anything was. And that's actually why I didn't have anything set up back here for the longest time. Because she's like, I got you something for your stream setup. Now, my best friend is hella organized and has like one of the best eyes for like interior design and aesthetic I've like ever seen. So she hates the way I've set shit up in my room sometimes. So I was concerned she got me like a shelf or like a bookcase or like something to like put all my stuff on neatly. And when she showed me what she got me, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be so cute. She got it. It finally came in the mail and she opened it up because she wanted to see it. And she was terrified. She's like, I like popped it open. She's like, I think it's a little warped and it looks a bit stupid. So I'm sorry. Like if it looks weird, I'm sorry. And I popped it open. I'm like, ah! I'm like, this is perfect. I pulled up like a Dragon Dagger Super Poison online. Like I showed her like the OSRS like in-game screenshot. She's like, huh. It just always looks that stupid. I'm like, yup. Like we were trying to, when we were setting the weapons up, she came over last night.
It.
Okay,
go grab it and bring it close.
When she came over last night and we were setting up. Oh right, it's a little, you know, kind of almost knocked the mount off the wall there. She came over to like set the weapons up with me. She's like laid them out on the floor. I like spun the Abyssal Whip around like it is in your inventory, and she's like, "How the hell are you gonna hang that up?" I'm like, "I did it at my old apartment." And I showed her a screenshot, and she's like, "Why are they all do they look so dumb in game?" I'm like, 2004 graphics, but this is it. This is my DDS. This part is really annoying to hang on the wall because it's not flush with the rest of the blade. Kind of like curves out a bit. So that's why I kind of had to like shove the dagger off the wall, but you know, hold it backwards.
Give us a DDS spec.
I just hit Michael for a 25. Sit the down, kid. So yeah, that's my DDS. Hi there. Welcome to XP. Oh, never mind. I was gonna make a comment about how we're a solo hosted show now, but
we did exactly what they did on the Summer Summit with the knocked out husky with the bow.
Yeah. Which is also a lot of fun to see them interact in person before, because they have pretty good chemistry online, but like in person is so much more fun. Just like you and I have good chemistry, and I have never been closer than at least 1,000 miles from you. If you're listening in like only audio and you have no reference for like YouTube, or like you don't follow us on Twitch or hang out with us in Discord or anything like that, which hang out with us in Discord, it's a lot of fun.
Link in the description.
I live very far away from Michael. Michael is very
Yeah.
far away from me. We have never met in person before.
Nope.
We don't do this from a recording studio
Nope.
or anything like that. So like
We
like,
choose to hang out, like we choose to spend hours with each other every week doing this.
My friend sent a meme the other day to one of our Discords. It was like, you know my deepest, darkest secrets and all of my past traumas, and I have no idea what your legs look like. Like, we were Discord the other day, and we were talking to some people, and I apologized. I was like, you know, our friend Jesse. I'm like, if you walk up to us at RuneFest and nobody says hello to you, no one has any idea what you look like. So we apologize in advance if we're like kind of cautious at first. We're like, who the is this guy?
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of weird and also amazing meeting people at RuneFest and that weird out of body experience you're gonna have, like knowing exactly what their voice sounds like because you spent potentially hundreds of hours in voice call with them, but you don't know where you stand, like eye level.
I know where I stand eye level to all of you, and it's like this.
Yeah. You're what, 6'2"?
6'3", yeah.
6'3". Okay, so I'm 6 foot, so we're gonna be somewhat the same height. But yeah, it's gonna be quite jarring.
Yeah.
And
I was talking about this to my roommate
Oxie,
earlier.
We're gonna be able to do a live show from RuneFest together.
Oh my god, that's gonna be so much fun. We'll do it. Hear us out, Jagex. Check this out. We'll gladly accept a panel to do an XP Waste podcast at RuneFest 2022, and we'll do it live with people in the audience.
Yeah,
we'll like walk out there and like sing the theme song with everyone. Do 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 do.
Sing it with us.
Then Michael, I'll be like, hyping up the crowd. Michael will do the intro, like, "Hello, and welcome back to XP Waste live from RuneFest." Like it'll be fantastic. But yeah, I was talking about it with my roommate. Like, we don't know how we carry ourselves physically. We don't know what our body language looks like. No one knows what each other smells like. Not that anyone smells particularly bad, but like humans have smells. I don't know. I smell fine. I smell like sunburn and Old Spice right now. Which kind of makes me sound like a weird cabana 60-year-old dilf. I'm not. I've never been in a cabana.
Oh man.
But yeah. We have no reference for anybody, and it's gonna be super jarring and super fun.
Yeah,
I can't
we're gonna
wait for RuneFest.
Make Blairberry drinks for everyone.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna get everyone absolutely just
wasted.
Oh yeah, like stats fully reduced down to 0.
Yeah,
wasted.
Bring your super restores, people. Bring your super restores.
And by that we mean bottles of water, please, for the love of God. Because before we go to RuneFest, there's no ice in Europe. The Europeans have not invented ice. They've not gotten that far yet. They don't have ice for any of their beverages. So if it's it'll be November, so it won't be super hot.
Just put it in the snow outside.
I mean, I don't know if England's like Michigan where they get snow in November. They might. I've never been there in November. I couldn't know. Every single European listener who's listening is like, they say, "Hey, you fucking asshole."
Don't they also charge you for water and to use the restroom?
They don't charge. I've never been charged to use a public restroom. I've been charged to use restrooms at like churches and shit, but that was like in Italy. Like never in England did I have to pay to use a restroom. And I don't think England charged us for water, but I think other countries do. But they'll bring you like an entire like giant bottle of water.
But it's water and it's not even cold. Who knows? Hey, when did we get tickets for this train that were so far off the track of? That was terrible. It sounded so much better in my head.
Hi, and welcome back to XP Waste, where this is Michael's last episode after that stupid joke. I'll
just retire. You guys, I'm sorry. Oh,
dude,
man.
I don't even remember. Oh, I think we're talking about... I have the sigils page open right now.
Yeah. How did we get here, Oxie?
Because I was talking about the 2 reasons why I'm excited. Reason number 2, baby. For Leagues 3, they mentioned that the relic shards are going to be interchangeable. they're not going to be an equipable item, and they're not going to be an inventory item. It's going to be a brand new interface that will allow you to interchange and like see the effects of whatever relics you have. Kind of like in RS3, when you get a buff and it's like over your chat box or over your combat bar or wherever you place it. I am hoping that we see the first iteration of that in Deadman mode.
We probably will.
Because
yeah,
the reason I'm excited for it isn't because, oh, we're going to see it in leagues, because if they can create a system that allows us to have additional buffs and it works well and it runs well,
yeah,
how are we going to see that in the main game? Like, if they can create this interface and make it not only work with RuneScape's code, but make it work with old school RuneScape's gameplay style.
yeah.
You know, nothing XP boosting, nothing similar to what we would get in leagues, but like, maybe that's how they go about combating power creep, is they give these buffs. Maybe that's how they go about combating economic loss, where they have to take untradeable items from new content combined with items that are already existing. Like, could you imagine, you know, a buff that specifically applies to the Theater of Blood? You know, Seraphina's Gift or something like that. And it's a passive buff that you have a 3% chance to heal 15% of what you've hit, regardless of what you're wearing.
That'd be cool.
But you need to use this untradeable drop from a different Mauritania-based source that could come after the Sins of the Father finale, and something stupid, like a Scythe of Vitor. So a super expensive buff that'll make you just a little bit more powerful in TOB.
Right.
Those extra hit points are just going to make it a little bit easier.
Right. I don't charge it with like 100,000 death or 100,000 blood runes or something.
Yeah, something crazy like that. Like, again, this is an example of how adding a UI for passive buffs could potentially change the game for old school RuneScape. Again, I don't want to see XP rates go through the roof. I don't want to see myself become this like 2-tick Abyssal Whip 5 Bandos Godsword specking, you know, immune to all damage demigod that I was in Trailblazer League. I really don't want to see that in the main game.
No.
Even things like Last Recall, as fun as it was, have no place in the main game. But I think if they develop this system for leagues and they test it out in Deadman mode with these sigils, it could potentially lay the foundation for a lot of new interesting content. Someone's going to be in the comments like, you can't buff the Theater of Blood like that. Like, it'll make it too OP and too easy to get past because, like, I can afford multiple scythes and blah, blah, blah. It's an example of, like, how passive buffs could be applied, as well as promoting PVM for untradables, which is the best kind, and also creating the very necessary item sync. I have just thought of that right this second, by the way. This isn't something I wrote down.
Wow.
I was like, oh yeah, I could set up future content. And I'm like, oh wow, this could set up this way. So someone who's a little bit more creative, kind of take that and run with it and see what you can come up with for like these kind of sigil relic-esque passive buffs that wouldn't dramatically alter old school RuneScape or introduce ridiculous power creep.
Right.
I'm very excited to see how sigils are implemented. Excited to see which ones are super expensive. It's gonna be fun.
Any last quick fire things about this Deadman mode that you're excited about, or we haven't talked about?
If you win, you get 20 grand, which is awesome.
Which is insane.
Yeah, holy shit. 20 grand for the winner? That's insane.
Like the number one player in leagues gets nothing. I don't think there's a single thing, like you don't get membership or anything, but freaking $20,000 cash for Deadman mode, insane.
You've probably killed hundreds of players at that point to get there, I would assume.
Yeah,
but
yeah, 11 fights.
Yikes. Even plus all the people you probably killed in the league too, or the Deadman mode.
Yep.
I guess my final thought on Deadman mode: if you've never played Deadman mode before, play it on August 25th. Wake up in the morning, make yourself a breakfast, hop in Discord with the boys, like I'm possibly gonna do, and play Deadman mode. It is going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be scary. It's the most anxiogenic form of RuneScape that exists. because I'm not kidding you when I say someone wants to, and if you're like Michael and I, probably will kill you around every corner, because killing other players, PvP, is a foundational element of Dead Man Mode. It is stressful, it's hard to make money, it is scary, there are lots of people trying to murder you, it is a fun experience. I know that last statement sounds a bit contradictory, but I promise once you're into it and you're getting that XP and you're making your first little bit of money and you either survive your first fight or you teleport away from a PKer or you win your first fight, like someone tries to run up on you with like a bronze sword and you clap back with your iron 2H and kill them, and you're like, you feel that? You're like, oh God, this is what PKing is. This is fun.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Please play Dead Man Mode. I'm also going to throw in there that I probably am not going to be playing Dead Man Mode because I've got a Vedion KC to get for the Combat Diaries, and all the Wilderness PKs are going to be in Dead Man Mode. So everybody play Dead Man Mode. So have a good time.
Go in the wilderness.
Leave me the hell alone in the deep wilderness. But I'm being serious. Dead Man Mode is a lot of fun. Dead Man Mode is a lot of fun.
It's a freaking strategy, dude.
I might play day one just to feel the dopamine and then go right into the wilderness in the main game. Yeah. How about you? 100%. Any final thoughts? DMM Reborn?
As somebody who does not like PvP, I've said that at the top of the episode. I've said it many times on this podcast. I am excited about this. So if you are of the mindset that Dead Man Mode bad, Dead Man Mode toxic, Jagex bad, just give it a try. I've seen plenty of people online already saying that they're just being negative about it, and I don't think that is a healthy approach to this, because this is something that they put a lot of work in, and I think they intentionally are trying to make it good. So give it a try and try to be positive, because I know that the PvP community can be very toxic, and it's a game that we all love and play every day. So I'm not saying that you, the listener, specifically are going to be negative, but just I'm hoping for the community as a whole to have a positive spin and a positive outlook.
Yeah, on this tournament. I disagree with that. I don't think the PK community is toxic at all. I think they're fed up and annoyed because they haven't gotten a PvP update, a tried and true PvP update in years. You know.
Yeah. Well, that can make you a better person.
We always talk about the most recent Jimmy video of like assessing what old school used to be, and that kind of like, you know, perfectly balanced as he describes it is gone, because he says in the video, who PKs with a scythe or a twisted bow? Like, true. You know, it's not designed for anything else besides doing the same activity over again. So the PK community is probably more just disheartened than they are toxic. I know a lot of people who do PKing and none of them are toxic at all. But you also got to remember, you're trying to kill the other player.
Right.
This isn't like a hand holding, like, you know, all right, well, for this room, what we're going to do is there's a lot of mechanics for Ulm, so if you die, it's okay. Like, no, you are trying to kill the person in front of you. Yeah. So you have to be aggressive. You have to resort to tactics that some of them are pretty toxic. Some of the tactics in PvP are pretty toxic and super annoying to deal with. But I wouldn't say that they're toxic. There's a lot of things we didn't touch on. They're reworking some multi-combat zones, which is big. I know you said a lot of people bring up complaints, which reminded me of the Clan Man mode complaint, where people team up a lot in multi-combat zones. Yeah. It's like we could create a TNL clan and 15 of us could dominate some worlds. Like we could all keep our accounts between like 75 or 76 and 100 and just lock a world down forever. They've kind of remedied that by like changing some very common multi-combat zones.
Yeah.
And they've better defined where the multi-combat zone is, so you can't get like speared into multi over and over again. And they've changed it for Dead Man Mode. They haven't changed it for the main game. So like I think one of the examples I talked about is like the suckas on Lunar Isle, how that's multi, you can cannon them or whatever. That's all singles plus now, like it is in the Revenant Caves. And the boundaries between multi and single, I assume, are going to be much clearer. I also kind of think they're going to implement some of the wilderness changes I talked about, like doors always being open on PvP worlds. I assume they implement some of those to Deadman mode just to like see how it goes. So if you're worried about what you've heard about past Deadman modes, I am very optimistic that they've are going to or already have implemented changes to kind of remedy some of those things.
Yeah. Well, because one thing they did say in the Summer Summit was for this tournament, they sat down with a bunch of players and really hashed things out.
Mm-hmm.
Like their initial idea first was 3 lives and you're done, kind of like hardcore. But they got feedback and there's like that's not as fun as you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So they've definitely been working on things. It's not just flying by the seat of their pants, just putting out a dead man because people have been asking for it.
Yeah, which like shout out to Jagex for actually communicating with the PvP community. In the past, they've tried to put PvP updates in like normal poll blogs that like, part of the reason the VLS hasn't passed isn't because all PKers hate it. It's because, when you hear anything about a PK update, a normal player, you, for example, if someone shows up and is like, hey, how do you feel about making this element of PvP easier in the wilderness? Your first thought is like, hell no. Don't make it easier to kill me. Hell no. That's a no vote from me. So shout out to Jagex for like honing in on who actually participates in PvP.
Yeah.
As well as like people who like, if you want to get a diverse population in a survey, you also have to talk to people who like haven't played Deadman mode before and like don't PK to kind of gauge their feelings on it. But thank you for engaging in the PK community. Keep doing that, and the PKers will be very happy, and the ecosystem will be restored partially. So thank you.
Well, cool. I think we're going to throw it to a break. Enjoy this commercial, and we'll see you in a minute.
What's up, Scapers? Are you guys ready for the greatest edition of the Grand Exchange since the Grand Exchange? You better be, cause it's time to join a clan, baby! That's right, come on down to the Grand Exchange and start your own clan with your friends!
Sorry, I'm already in a friends chat.
Oh, I'm already in a friends chat. Yeah? Does your friends chat have a formal rank structure? What about these sick-ass icons? And what about the clan hall? That's right, you heard me. Join a clan and get a free community mansion with a full unpaid staff. Wait a minute, we're not getting paid. Sign up today and I'll even throw in a free banner so you can hoist your colors. Use it to beat the shit out of some goblins so they'll know who sent you. Join a clan today, baby! Woo!
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial because I know that we sure did.
So, Michael.
Yeah.
It's fun question time, but we're not going to get fun question yet, are we?
We're not.
We've got another very equally fun kind of, I think it's fun. It's equally fun, just not RuneScape related fun. It's kind of RuneScape related. Michael, do the damn promotion, okay? This transition wasn't as I can't believe it's not Oxie as the last one. Just take it from here, please.
So, if you've been paying attention in the last 2 episodes, we've been kind of hyping up what we're excited for, and that is the potential for a Patreon. So, we've had a poll going the last 2 weeks. It ended a week ago. So, the last 3 weeks, it ended a week ago. And it passed. So we've been hard at work this past week and behind the scenes kind of putting together the groundwork for what we hope this Patreon is going to be. So if you go to your web browser right now, type in patreon.com/xpwaste, you'll land on our page. First thing you're going to see is we have 3 distinct tiers. Well, 4, but we'll go into that. We're excited. Like, this is just the beginning of what I think that this Patreon could be as far as what we're offering. So What the main thing that you're going to get is further access to the TNL Discord with some very specific channels that's just for XP wasters. For $1, you're going to have access to the, let's see what it is. It's called the Fun Questions and the XP Waste Giveaways channel. So those are pretty self-explanatory as far as we'll be hosting giveaways for you guys, and we're going to be asking you if you have any fun questions to post them. For $5 a month, we're going to be giving you guys an extra episode per month. So that doesn't mean right now 4 extra episodes. It's just 1 extra episode.
There's also a possibility you get other content, like perhaps YouTube formatted content of Michael and I doing things together in game. Like, you ever watch Michael and I try to duo a story mode Tob? It's a shit show. I've never even done it with Michael, and I assume it's going to be a shit show. Right. But it could make for some fun Patreon content. So, an extra episode for feeling spicy. There may be bonus content as well / instead, because scheduling can be a nightmare.
For sure.
Yeah,
like there's no set rules or formatting that we're going to have for this extra episode. Like Oxie said, it literally could just be us doing content, also just recording our Discord call between the two of us, and like having some sort of agenda, but not a podcast. It doesn't automatically mean that we're going to have like an extra like structured podcast episode. So that's $5. For $10, you have access to all of the things that we mentioned before, plus an unedited version of the podcast. Why? Why not?
That's like Michael's exact description on the Patreon. To like, I know he's reading it right off the page. And why you want an unedited version of this podcast, totally beyond us. But in case for some reason you're like, I want to see what the full process is like. I want to watch Michael repeat the same sentence 4 times in a row. I want to watch Oxie go and then shake his inhaler and in the middle of a conversation. I want to hear all of the knuckle cracking and like slurping noises that Oxie makes while he records. I've edited myself. I'm horrible to work out the background sounds for.
But that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, you can get that at the $10 tier. There's an arguably more fun perk from the $10 tier as well, Michael.
So if you're in the TNL Discord, you've likely already seen Oxie and I in the recording booth channel. We're there right now. And in the $10 tier, you're going to have access to be with us while we record, but you're not going to be able to talk or turn your camera on or anything. It's literally just, you're going to be in the channel to be able to hear us do the podcast as it goes. So if you don't want to listen back to the unedited version, then you can just be there live. So it's kind of like in case you missed it.
That's a much more enticing way to sell it. I can take that pitch and spin it a bit differently. At the $10 tier, you'll get access to the recording booth in the TNL Discord, where you can listen to Michael and I record episodes live, and you can sit there and be like, these 2 fucking idiots have no idea what they're talking about. Adam and plate bodies aren't 120k XP per hour. This isn't going to make it into the final episode, is it? You can roast us live on the internet. We won't be able to hear you, so you can say whatever the hell you want, but you'll be able to hear us. The reason we chose to do that is because we wanted a way for you guys to be able to interact with us while we're recording, but keep it in such a way where we don't have to like hone out other people talking or edit out like, us being like, what
What'd you say?
A little bit of background into how we record these things. Michael and I both record ourselves on OBS. So like we have OBS scenes for the podcast. For example, I have the same OBS I do for podcasting, I also do for streaming. So my overlays just popped up. And if I type something in chat like, hi, XP Waste, like I can do that and you'll see it there. I also have a drama cam, so to speak.
Me too.
Yeah. But we mute the desktop audio for one another. So because we don't want the double audio track, like we can't separate that from how we record it in Discord. So Michael and I could hear you in Discord, but you wouldn't be recorded anyway.
Right.
So,
you're not going to show up.
yeah, we wanted to just like cut out those distractions for us recording, but also give you guys a way to like, I don't want to say feel like, yeah, I guess feel like you're a part of the recording process. And 9 times out of 10, we go right from the recording booth or like mod chat or whatever we were into right back into general anyways, because we're like, I mean, why stop hanging out here? So like, it's not like, you know, you'll never be able to speak to us if we're in the recording booth, but we want you guys to be able to hang out and be with us while also keeping it professional, I guess. So for the $10 tier, you get access to that, which I think is really fun.
Yeah.
So
I was even thinking maybe we could have like a recording booth chat. To kind of like where it's where you can live chat.
That'd be so fun. You could like live chat to us. We should totally implement that. Okay. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Mind you, joining the Discord is free, by the way. The Discord links we have in the description are free to join. We encourage everyone to come join TNL. We love like having people around. For Skill of the Week, I know we talked about it yesterday, Michael, when our old episode got destroyed. It's not a fault of your own. It's just frustrating because I really liked the content from last week's or yesterday's episode. Anyways, it's free to join, and everyone who's been in Discord for about a year, so anyone who has like the night rank when you join, most of them, and a lot of like the people who have like the streamer title too, have been around for so long that we've all learned the content together, and we love teaching new people.
Yeah.
All of us kind of specialize in like a different aspect of the game. Like one of the knights who I'm looking at is online right now. His name is Leo. The man has like 10,000 collective Dagonoth King KC. Like he'll take you to DKs in any gear at any time to do. Not any time, obviously. Like he has a life, but you know.
I think he would literally drop what he's doing if you said, "Let's go to DKs."
Oh god, yeah, he wants that pet so bad.
DKs or Bandos, he would literally drop anything. He probably would leave a raid early if you said, "Leo, let's go to Bandos."
And a lot of people who are in TNL are very much that same way. We're like, we love teaching new people. We have people coming all the time who are like, "Are my raids ready?" And we're like, "No, but we'll take you. It'll be lit." Like, have an abyssal whip, a toxic trident, or even a trident of the seas, and a toxic blowpipe. And you could do almost any content in the game except for Theater of Blood. It's the only one where I'm a bit more strict because I can't even get KC at Theater of Blood. So
unless we're doing entry mode, but
entry mode is a recipe for bad habits. The only reason why I think we could duo one for fun is because it's not nearly as punishing as normal TOB. Yeah. But yeah, I highly encourage everyone to join the Discord if you're listening. Michael, you mentioned one more tier. That's a thing, right?
Yeah. So with the $10 tier, the last thing you're going to get from us personally is a shout out in each episode. We're not quite sure how that's going to be kind of structurally, if we're going to do it at the beginning, if it's going to be at the end, but your name will be read aloud for all to hear and thanked each episode. And that's literally just because we are eternally grateful for your continued support of the show if you choose to do the $10 tier. Now,
perhaps it'll be like mid-sentence. Like Michael will be like, so when we're talking about Leagues 3, like we kind of gotta, strategize whatever. I'll be in the back like, shout out to Jam Jars for the $10 subscription. Michael will be like, okay, anyways.
Okay. Moving on. We added a third tier, $25 a month, and right now, there's not anything concrete that's different from the other tiers except for you will have our literal, unending, undying love for your support. That is all you get. More in this tier, but there's no rules that says anybody ever has to subscribe at the $25 tier. But we will make it a point to give you a super special, extra loving shout out in the episode. So
Michael and I went back and forth on this one because, as you guys know, accepting money for talking about RuneScape is still a weird concept for me. So I'm like, there's not even extra perks. He's like, No, I've just seen other podcasts do it, and they seem to have success with it. So I'm like, okay. It's not to say there won't ever be perks. Let's picture, 5 years into the future. XP Waste is the single most popular show on Spotify. Michael and I have made millions from like recording deals, which we can talk about where the money for the Patreon is going in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Michael and I are millionaires from the show. Old School RuneScape is as popular as it's ever been just because of us, introducing the whole world to this game.
Maybe the 20 to Texas.
Maybe the $25 tier, it like gives you like access to we'll rent a private bar at RuneFest, or like when we release our new season of merchandise, you'll just get it for free because you subscribe with the. This is a bit astronomical. We're never going to be millionaires for making this show, but like. What I'm trying to say is that there could be perks for the $25 tier in the future that Michael and I don't have planned out yet. So speaking of money, like I mentioned, Michael and I aren't getting paid for this show, and that's not what the Patreon is going to do either. Patreon money, I think we said it a few weeks ago. Look at our logo right now. Does it look flashy? No, because it's the words XP Waste.
Well, if you're listening at the time of release, if this is like a year from now and we've already done what you're about to say,
if this is 5 years from now when we're millionaires renting whole bars for RuneFest 2020, if we're paying for RuneFest for Jagex because we're that rich and that popular, it's not applicable anymore.
When we own Jagex,
the Carlisle Group is going to sell us Jagex, and we're going to make sure that Old School runs forever.
Sorry, RS3, you're getting shut down.
No, RS3 can stay. I just don't know anything about it, so I'll just defer to the RS3 people. And like the money from the Patreon, our intentions are like hire a graphic designer, make a logo, make a banner, make emotes for Discord for XP Waste people, make intro graphics for us that isn't just the word XP Waste that Michael and I have to constantly sync up every week to do. I don't know if you guys use Premiere Pro. Getting a word to be this big and up here to this big and down here is like diffusing a bomb. Because there's no grid lines in Premiere Pro, so like you can't tell if it's centered or not. You know how many times I've like looked at the episode and been like trying to figure out if the word is centered to like where we are on screen. I'm too much of a perfectionist to do stuff like that. So like hiring someone to do something like that later in the future, hiring someone to edit the episodes for us, so Michael and I don't have to like worry about editing with an actual child.
Right.
I mean, unless you're an editor with an actual child and that's your job, but whatever.
Editing with an actual cat.
Yeah. You mean editing with an actual terrorist. Anyways.
Yes. We could use the money to design merch.
Yeah, I was just about to say hire someone to design merch for us, even if it's like one of you guys in the community. Like Old School RuneScape community is full of brilliant artists and editors and graphic designers and all this stuff. I saw someone post on Reddit the other day a trailer for Old School RuneScape. It's like a fan-made trailer. It made rune crafting look interesting. What the
That's fun. That's awesome.
So like people can do crazy things who all play this game. Like maybe one of you guys are the people we commission to do these things. That's what Patreon money is. Patreon money goes back into the show. Literally all of it. It's not like we're pocketing a little bit of it. Like all of the money that comes from you guys goes back into the show to give to you guys. So yeah,
it's just gonna make the experience better, and we're excited for that.
Yeah, we want to be transparent about where the ducats are going, but we've talked about money too much for this to be fun. And this is what section of the podcast, Michael?
The fun question.
So, during the Summer Summit, one of the big announcements that I'm sure everyone was super excited about was the announcement of Group Iron Man. Now, we've kind of talked about what we want to do for Group Iron Man. Like, we kind of want to make, like, an RPG style, like, everyone has a different role, like tank, healer, DPS, botanist, gatherer, Slayer Master, things like that. But I actually have a fun question for you this week. Michael.
Yeah. Hit me with it.
if you had to make a group Iron Man team composed of only RuneScape NPCs, not bosses, so like no Barrows Brothers, no Commander Zilliana, no bosses, just NPCs, who would it be? And very briefly, why? Would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
So I have 3 out of the 4 already.
You had a boss, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, no boy. All right, hit me with it. Who you got?
Okay, so first and most obvious one, and
Hold
I'm
on,
sure
don't say it yet. Listeners, if you know who it is, type it in the comments right now. No context. Type who the NPC is in the comments right now before Michael says it. Wait for it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Michael, who's your first NPC?
Wise old man. Is that a surprise to anyone? I know it's not a surprise to Oxie. I could have had him tell me who my first NPC would be. Can you imagine that legend of a character on your group Iron Man team with all his life experience and all the things that he knows, his house? He's already got a sick house right in the middle of town. It's right next to a bank. Like, there's just endless possibilities. So Wise Old Man is number 1. I chose Zanuck, who is a cave goblin from the Death to the Dorgeshan quest, because she's awesome, dude. She has a spunk for life that I've not seen in a character in quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So Wise Old Man, Zanuck. Number 3, Bob from Bob's Axes. This man can supply our entire team with the highest quality weapons, and I did choose this one because I know that it's Oxley's least favorite character. So I did it for the giggles.
You're going to get the interspecies racist on your... Yeah, good job. Good job. He hates cave goblins, by the way. Have fun with that.
This is going to be a transformational experience for him because Zanuck is on our team, and I do not tolerate racism.
You're going to make Bob woke.
Yeah, this is a transformational experience for him. My 4th one, before I learned about this new rule, was going to be Aram from the Barrows Brothers. Just because he hits like a tank, dude. You like, even if you're praying against him, he's got a very, very high magical attack. So yeah. But if I had to choose an actual 4th, it would be a banker NPC. Any bank, doesn't matter, because they can get us GP.
Wow. So you would steal money from the masses.
Yeah.
You're an absolute savage.
As with every fun question, this was literally off the top of my head. I learned of this question yesterday, and the only NPC that I had concrete day 1 in my brain was Wise Old Man. These other 3 were just kind of like...
Which is great,
last
because
5 minutes.
We also knew it was going to be Wise Old Man. Myself and all the listeners. Like, as soon as I asked it, someone's like, yeah, Michael's going to want the Wise Old Man. And you did. I considered the Wise Old Man, but he ultimately didn't make the cut for my team. Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because he's on my team, so that's obviously you can't have any player.
We actually don't have any overlap. Funny enough, of our NPCs.
Good.
So I have 4.
Oxie, can I ask you the question?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Ask me the question.
Oxie, if you could choose 4 NPCs for your group Iron Man team, who would they be?
All right. My first NPC would be Elena from Song of the Elves. Or Elena, I don't know how you pronounce her name. I think it's Elena. She is not only a genius, but also like a very sociable person. She's the only other human in the world who can access Prifddinas. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I assume she's also like hella good with like herb lore and crafting because she's a biologist. I would love an epidemiologist on my team who also has a knack for undermining corrupt governments. I think Elena would be a pretty badass choice to have on my group Iron Man team. Second, and this is just because I think it would be terrifying to watch and also very fun to watch as well. I want Konar Koman on my team.
Who's that?
The Konar?
Oh, Konar!
Slayer Master?
I don't know her by full name, so if you just said Konar.
Okay, fine. For all the uncultured, hold the space bar through all my dialogue. I don't do my quests, plebs out there. Konar the Slayer Master, who gives you the 3-headed monster with the claw drop, the blue lady. I want
blue
her.
lady.
From what we've heard about her from like the Korend Chronicles, and the fact that she kind of just carries herself like a demi-goddess anyway, she seems like, as I've said before, an absolute death machine. I would love to have her in combat.
Right.
It just seems terrifying.
Can you imagine, like, just talking to Konar in mid-conversation? He goes, "We must bring balance to these goblins." And you're like walking out of Lumbridge. She's like, "We have to bring balance to these goblins now."
I kind of imagine her from you ever seen Guardians of the Galaxy or Avengers? Nebula?
Yeah. Nebula, yes.
She kind of has that very like monotonous and
yes,
almost
monotone
voice. I kind of imagine Konar having that kind of voice with just a single like bright blue eye. Terrifying.
Ooh.
I'm into it. I'm here for it. Not into it like that. I'm here for it to have her on my team.
Every time somebody like turns in one of those keys, she's obviously rich. So she's got some good loot stashed in those crates.
Exactly. I mean, that's pretty sick. I'm also not worried about her getting loot. She controls the volcano that keeps a 40-foot Hydra in it, and is just like, I run this bitch. Konar's a good choice.
Yeah.
Also, because it's fresh in my head from combat achievements, Gommel seems like a great tank for PVM situations. Real big, real beefy. Give him some Justiciar and a Hasta. We could take him anywhere. He'll be fine. I think Gommel would be a really good choice for PVM. How useful he'd be for like gathering skilling supplies, I'm really not sure.
I don't even think he can bend over with how buff he is. He's just like,
yeah, and so maybe he'd be good for like wood cutting or something, because we all know fishing, you go from like standing up to like an immediate 3-point stance, diving into the water, pulling up a whole fish.
He skips cardio every day.
Yeah, I picks things up and puts them down. He's also like 9 feet tall, so I feel like that would be also a pretty fun advantage. Have him like, we all need Barrows armor, and just have him like step on all the Barrows brothers. Gommel would be pretty good. And then finally, in the to balance it out in the realm of like too strong and too smart NPCs, I kind of want Saphalan from the Marie storyline.
I have no idea who that is.
The pain I feel.
How do you spell his name?
Do your quests!
Oh. I think I know who you're talking. Is it the guy? Does he have like black hair and it's all kind of spiky, and he's in the basement of that house that you get the no?
I think you're thinking of Veliath.
Okay.
You don't even know who that is. God damn it, Michael. Saphalan is the only remaining Icene that is not Commander Zeliana. He's a half Icene, half human / vampire thing. He has that magical burst power in Sins of the Father. He's the one that gets captured by Lord Draken. He's also got really creepy blue eyes.
I spacebarred that entire quest. I'm so sorry.
You son of a bitch.
I'm sorry.
That's one of the... Okay, oh my god. Keep it together, Oxie. XP Waste has co-host. XP Waste has co-host. Keep it together. Anyway.
Oxie just leaves the call right now.
Anyways, he seems like a very driven and very intelligent individual to have on my team. How useful he is in like direct combat outside of this magical burst power he has, I'm really not sure. The burst power seems like it uses all of his special attack bar and drains all his stats immediately. Because that's kind of how he killed Vanstrom, which, spoiler alert, by the way, he like exploded and popped, and then Vanstrom kind of like died from the light of the Icene or whatever. I think it would be very beneficial to have him on my team. I think I have a super cool group Iron Man team. We've got cultural, and is it racial or is it species? I'm not sure if there are different races or different, because like an Icene, is it a human or is it?
I would say species.
Whatever Konar is, which is like
humanoid.
a distant. Yeah, it's like a distant relative of Tazar, or like what
Yeah.
live up in that Mount Curlum. So like humanoid, like it's a multicultural
Specials.
team. It's a very diverse as far as like combat and skill set. We've got the smart one with Saflam. We've got the social one with Elena, who's like, "Hi, nice to meet you. Let's overthrow your local government." We've got the tank with Gommel, who can take on any boss anywhere. We've got the absolute shit show of a fighter that I assume Konar is.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't get the title of Slayer Master just because.
yeah, she kind of gives me like Darth Maul mixed with like a Velociraptor from Jurassic Park vibes. Just
Accurate.
scary. And I want her on my team because of that. And then you've got me, who's going to be sitting in the back like, all right, everyone, go have fun. I'll get you your Tanzanite fangs, but I would rather die than get, eternal boots. So fun grinding mage training arena for me.
So I want to swap out my banker
Yeah.
and sub in Lawarniel.
All right, everyone. It's been a really fun week. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I had a lot of fun up until this last 30 seconds with a fun question. And Dead Man Mode's going to be hype. Michael, you have any final thoughts?
I'm kidding, Oxie.
You laugh like I'm kidding. You have any final thoughts?
No. Thank you so much for listening, guys. It's been a fun one. It's like hiccups are going to happen. So what happened yesterday kind of sucks, but today was a good episode, and I'm glad that we got the chance to redo it. And who knows, yesterday could have been just as fun, but that's in an alternate dimension. That's like a separate timeline when my power didn't go out. So enjoy that if you have access to the multiverse.
It's not even a Patreon exclusive because we only have one half of the audio, which we should put like a little blurb on Patreon of like what our ends sound like when it's just us, because like our videos alone they sync up really well, but they're awkward as shit when it's just us, because it'll be like
coughing.
Yeah, there's coughing, there's knuckle cracking. I'm like, Michael's gonna edit all this out anyway, let's be loud as making all sorts of noise.
But yeah, final thoughts would be check out the Patreon. We'll have a link in the description. And then join the TNL Discord if you haven't already. We'd love for you to join, and we'll obviously help you do any content you like, as long as we have somebody online who's able to do it. And we have a bunch of socials that we don't put in the description for some reason, but it's usually just at XPOAce Pod.
We don't put them in the description? Oh my god, we don't. Should we start doing that?
We probably should.
Putting the socials in the description.
Yeah, we'll have a link to all of our socials in the description below, so we don't have to keep continually saying, hey, follow us on Twitter and follow us on Instagram. If you want to follow us, they'll be in the description below. One that is quite new that I'm excited about is TikTok. So specifically this week, find us on TikTok and follow us and blow us up, because we want to go viral.
Do we?
So I want to go viral on TikTok. That's so much fun, dude. Anyway, coming from somebody who's already gone viral.
You know what we should do on TikTok? We should make a RuneScape sound go viral. We should make a TikTok that's so good and make the audio as sound. Can you imagine, like, we make a stupid TikTok and then suddenly a week later, Coil is all over TikTok. People are doing all their stupid dances and shit that they do on the app, and they have no idea where it's from. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to use TikTok to own Jagex and have our 5-year plan laid out where we rent a suite for RuneFest.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening, guys. We love you, and we will see you next Wednesday.